Days of Our Lives, spoilers reveal that Rachel Black may save Kristen DiMera from Statesville with 6 tearful words. Once awful memories rush back, Rachel may realize she's responsible for E.J. DiMera's shooting and for Kristen's decision to take the fall. Kristen considered pinning this on another innocent party, but she knew vengeful Ava Vitale would come back to expose her lie if she tried to blame her. There aren't really any other good options when it comes to immediate frame-up candidates, so Kristen knows pointing the finger at herself is the best option. Unfortunately, EJ wasn't willing to roll the dice on the jury's verdict, so he backed Kristen into a corner. That's why Days spoilers say Rachel's in for a shock following Kristen's courtroom confession and arrest drama. Since Kristen looked Rachel in the eye and swore she wasn't the one who shot EJ, her sudden story change will leave Rachel confused and upset. Rachel knows Kristen incredibly well, so Days spoilers suggest she may sense that something's off. Of course, Rachel will also freak out over her beloved mother going back to Statesville. This isn't Kristen's first rodeo when it comes to prison sentences, so Rachel will hate the idea of missing out on even more time with her. Duel fans know Marlena Evans believes Rachel is suffering from dissociative amnesia, so Rachel blocked out the memory of accidentally firing at EJ since it was too painful. However, Kristen's ordeal may get the ball rolling on bringing the full version of events to Rachel's mind. The trauma of losing Kristen to prison again will be horrible too, so that could help spark a memory flood and click things into place for Rachel. Whether this happens before Kristen's prison transport or after she's settled in Statesville, Rachel may help spare her from life behind bars. Following a memory comeback, Days viewers could see Rachel take action and save Kristen from prison with just 6 tearful words. I shot EJ, not my mom. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Marlena may back Rachel up and support her detailed story adjustment, so stay tuned for all the stunning news to come for her granddaughter. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, August 22nd, reveal that Shawn Brady will arrest Kristen DiMera while E.J. DiMera keeps quiet about Rachel Black. Johnny DiMera will also walk free, so there'll be a lot happening in Friday's Duel episode. In the courtroom, Johnny's trial will reach a shocking conclusion. Before E.J. can reveal the truth about Rachel's guilt, Kristen will make the only move she has left and confess to shooting her brother. Of course, Days viewers know it was Rachel who pulled the trigger instead, but EJ's willing to keep his mouth shut about that if Kristen can get Johnny off the hook. EJ doesn't want to hurt Rachel either, so he'll be fine with Kristen taking the fall. Since Kristen is running out of time and doesn't have anyone else she can pin this on, claiming she shot EJ is the only thing she can do. Leo Stark will prepare to hand over the jury's verdict, but Kristen will confess to trying to wipe EJ off the map that night. Shawn will ultimately place Kristen under arrest, but Belle Black may have a hunch that she's lying. Once Belle puts all the clues together, she may realize Rachel must be to blame and that Marlena Evans has figured it out. Speaking of Marlena, she'll face Kristen's emotional request on Friday's Days episode. It sounds like Kristen will beg Marlena to keep a lid on Rachel's guilt and just let Kristen take the fall. Other Days spoilers say Brady Black will put Sarah Horton Kyriakis on the spot. Brady can't stop thinking about Sophia Choi's slip of the tongue since she called the baby a boy instead of a girl. That got Brady thinking about Sarah's strange reaction when he gave her updates on Sophia supposedly having a daughter in Chicago. Brady will have more questions for Sarah on Friday's show, but she'll dodge them as best as she can and work to hide Sophia's deception. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Brady will seek all the latest Sophia news from Sarah, but she won't be able to give him all the answers he's looking for. Sarah sneaks up behind Sophia at the pub as she orders food at the bar. Sarah implores her to tell Tate the truth about their baby and give him the closure that he needs. Sophia doesn't want him to hate her. Plus, there's her mom, who could screw up her future by making her keep the baby. Sophia looks forward to going to Salem U with Tate. Sarah reminds her that Tate is still involved with Holly. For now, Sophia says, Sarah suggests Sophia make a fresh start and move on from Tate, but Sophia has no plans to do that. When Brady and Tate arrive, the teen goes off to apply for a job. Sarah awkwardly stands by as Brady brings up the baby. Sophia slips and calls her him, which Brady picks up on. When she steps away to check on her takeout, Brady notes how weird that was. but Sarah dismisses it. Brady flashes back to Sarah, questioning him when he told her Sophia gave birth to a girl. Tate turns in his application to the bartender and heads out to meet Holly, thus declining Sophia's request to join her for lunch. So, Sophia asks the bartender for a job application for herself. At a table with Sarah, Brady fixates on Sophia's slip of the tongue. After the 12 jurors take a vote, Leo explodes over the nitwit, who is the lone guilty vote. Who's that juror, you ask? Leo's wholesome roommate in sequestration, Adam, who vehemently believes Johnny DiMera shot his own father. Leo takes a slow breath and, with an unnervingly calm tone, calls for a break. As the others place lunch orders, he holds Adam back for a chat. Close talker Adam won't let Leo bully him into changing his vote. He's confident he can change everyone's mind, thus avoiding a hung jury. As Adam cites law and order as proof it can be done, Leo breaks. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Though taken aback by Leo's outburst, Adam won't be swayed. He will convince the rest of the jury that Johnny is guilty if it's the last thing he does. After lunch, Adam makes an impassioned speech, questioning hypnosis and that quack doctor. But Leo will not stand for the besmirching of Dr. Marlena Evans's good name. No matter, Adam cannot let Salem's rich and powerful think they're above the law. Leo scowls as the jurors whisper to each other. A new vote reveals a 50-50 split. Adam delights and makes another argument, which brings another juror to his side. Leo calls for another vote. In the DiMera living room, EJ instructs Kristen to find a way to ensure the jury finds Johnny innocent, or else he'll have no choice but to turn Rachel in. As they argue, Kristen asks for more time, but EJ points out the jury is deliberating. There is no more time. It's too late to bribe the judge, so what? Is Kristen supposed to pin it on an innocent person? EJ thinks it's a fine idea because it's already happening right now. Find a sacrificial lamb that isn't my son, he demands. He suggests Ava, but Kristen doesn't think that would fly. In Rachel's bedroom, Marlena tries to keep her granddaughter distracted from wanting to return downstairs. Rachel eventually catches on and pretends her snake escaped its cage. As Marlena reluctantly searches for it, Rachel slips out of her room. With Marlena in pursuit, Rachel runs into the living room to ask her mother and uncle if they are keeping a secret from her. Is EJ mad at her for telling the truth at Johnny's trial? As EJ assures Rachel she's done nothing wrong, Marlena gets a text from Belle. The jury has reached a verdict. Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for the week of August 25th suggest some twists and turns. Fans can expect Kristen DiMera to make a sacrifice for her daughter. However, Rachel Black still needs serious help. Plus, Philip Kyriakis gets into bed with someone. Keep reading, and let's discuss what is coming up next week in the Peacock soap opera. Let's start off with Kristen, who can no longer ignore the fact that her daughter is the one who really shot EJ DiMera. However, Rachel is also still a little girl, and clearly just wanted EJ to give the location of her missing grandmother. At the same time, Rachel has probably seen and experienced too much to ever be a normal kid. Kristen will freak out in court, and a bailiff ends up holding her back. It sounds like Kristen will make a sacrifice to save her daughter. Even if Kristen does go to prison, there is still Rachel to deal with. It's interesting that Marlena Evans is taking a leave of absence from the hospital. It sounds like Marlena might try to fix Rachel. I wonder if Kat Green will help Marlena out with this. Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of August 25th reveal that Johnny DiMera will be found not guilty. The man will celebrate with his wife, Chanel Dupree DiMera. However, what will come next for them now? Fans will also see Steve Johnson's investigation heat up. That could pit Steve against Stephanie Johnson. I could see them having a bit of a feud over this situation. It also seems that Philip is poised to land in bed with Gabby Hernandez. However, she could go too far in her attempt to score intel for Tony DiMera. The man just offered too tasty of a deal to Gabby. Tony knows how much Gabby has always loved being in charge at DiMera Enterprises. While there seems to be a contract in place, I worry that Tony might end up screwing Gabby in the end. After all, the only reason Tony went to Gabby was because nobody else in the family wanted to be part of it. So, once the dust settles, Gabby could find herself facing a loss once again. Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Thursday, August 21st. Hint at some major moments in the land of Salem. A mother pleads for their child, while a father comforts his son, and someone is encouraged to tell the truth. What's set to go down on Thursday? Time to find out. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Thursday, August 21st, imply that Kristen DiMera will plead with E.J. DiMera for more time. Now that he knows Rachel Black was the one to shoot him, he'll be desperate to reveal the truth to save his own son, Johnny DiMera, as soon as possible. E.J. has gone to extreme lengths to exonerate Johnny, so he may not listen to what Kristen has to say. Speaking of Rachel, she'll be with Marlena Evans, and the grandmother will do all she can to distract her granddaughter. In related news, Leo Stark will preside over the deliberation of jury votes. How will the jury sway in Johnny's case? Across town, Brady Black will comfort Tate Black. There's a small chance they've been brought into the loop about Rachel, and this is probably about the fact that Tate is still reeling from not getting to meet his baby girl. Although fans know that Sophia Choi didn't have a baby girl, but rather a baby boy, and Tate has met him since his son is little T Tesoro, the newborn Leo, and Javi Hernandez are taken care of. Will Tate get over this or continue to push the issue? Read this. Days of Our Lives spoilers week of August 25th. Philip's new bedroom partner. Kristen's prison return panics Rachel. Finally, Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Thursday suggest that Sarah Horton Kyriakis will try to convince Sophia to tell the truth. But will she? Sarah is bound by HIPAA to stay quiet, so Sarah's talk to Sophia may be futile, considering the circumstances. What are you looking forward to most during Thursday's show? Comment below. Watch your favorite Peacock soap daily, and check out SOS often for the best Days of Our Lives spoilers, news, and updates. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, August 22nd. Bring a verdict for Johnny's trial. Meanwhile, E.J. has ammunition to exonerate his son. Kristen begs Marlena for help with her daughter, and Brady wonders what Sarah knows about his. E.J. has finally remembered who shot him. It was Rachel. That's the she he was trying to protect. E.J. was also trying to protect his son. Now the jury, led by Leo, of all people, is about to render a verdict. E.J. has ammunition to save his son. Will he do it? Kristen doesn't care what Rachel did, who she shot, or why. Rachel is the best girl who ever lived, and she deserves to be protected the same way that everyone else deserves to suffer in order to make that happen. While Kristen doesn't care about her nephew, she expects E.J. to put his niece ahead of his own son. She expects the same from Marlena as well. Sure, Johnny is her grandson, but Rachel is her step-granddaughter, so saving her is the least Marlena can do. Sarah cares about Rachel too. Most of the time, this drives Kristen crazy. But if she can use it to her advantage, Kristen is happy to appeal to Rachel's almost mother. The same goes for Brady. He and Sarah have been growing closer lately, and Rachel is a part of that. So when Brady has questions about what's going on with his little girl, and not just Kristen, but also Marlena, are stonewalling him, Sarah might be all he has. Maybe she can get through to Rachel in a way nobody else can. Days of Our Lives spoilers photos for the August 22nd, 2025 episode tease an unexpected twist as Johnny's trial comes to a close. It looks like Kristen will arrive just in the nick of time to save Johnny from a possible guilty verdict and Rachel from an attempted murder charge. All rise for Leo to announce the verdict. Kristen barges into the courtroom to save both Johnny and her daughter. Johnny and his loved ones celebrate his name being cleared, while Shawn arrests Kristen. But will Belle be suspicious of the sudden turn of events? It's been a hot minute since anyone's mentioned Constantine on Days of Our Lives. It turned out that the man who claimed to be a friend of Victor's and then tried to befriend Maggie was nothing more than a villain out for money. While fans are predicting that Maggie's friend, Julie, might have a romance brewing with the bookshop owner, Foster, Maggie's been flying solo ever since Victor died. Suzanne Rogers recently addressed what she thought of the show trying to pair Maggie and Constantine. In no uncertain terms, Rogers told Soaps that the story with Constantine is the one that I felt didn't serve the character. She felt that Maggie wouldn't have jumped into another relationship so soon after Victor's death. "It was hard for me to come into work and to pretend that I was attracted to this man, or maybe falling in love with him," she stated. She reiterated that Victor, played by the late John Aniston, was the love of Maggie's life, so any new love wouldn't be right. She also noted that Maggie is no withering violet who would succumb to Constantine's pushy nature. "I felt he was too aggressive," she remarked. Rogers further explained that she couldn't get behind the potential pairing. She stated, "I love Victor, and all of a sudden, Constantine was trying to take Victor's place." She stood her ground and battled the writers over it, explaining to them that Maggie wouldn't move on so quickly after the death of the love of her life. Even though she would express her concerns, the writers just instructed her to go with the script and do her job. She also recalled when Constantine would buy her gifts, and a lot of them were from bargain basement sales and whatever. She hilariously stated that Maggie isn't bargain basement and would never even dream of being with a scoundrel like Constantine. Here are your Days of Our Lives photo spoilers for Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Johnny walks into the courtroom ready to hear his fate. But what happens next, he does not expect. Leo and the jury return after deliberations, and Leo hands a note with the verdict to the judge. Everyone waits with bated breath, but then Kristen appears to burst into the courtroom with a huge announcement. After her outburst, Kristen is cuffed, and Shawn takes her down to the Salem PD. Did Kristen throw herself on her sword to save her daughter and make sure that Rachel emerges from EJ's shooting unscathed? She was the first person arrested after EJ was shot, so her story could work. In the courtroom, everyone breathes a sigh of relief when it looks like Johnny will be set free. He embraces Chanel, as Paulina, EJ, and Marlena look on with relief. EJ also takes the time to talk to Belle, but she really doesn't want anything to do with him at this point. EJ went way too far when he threw her under the bus and exposed their relationship in court. Now, they don't even have a relationship. Johnny worries about what his fate may hold as he waits for the jury to announce its verdict. Marlena and EJ fear for both Rachel and Johnny, but they also both know the truth. Will the verdict even be read before Kristen makes an announcement that can change everything for her nephew Johnny? Is EJ ready to tell the truth about his shooting before Kristen bursts in and stops him? She knows she has to save Rachel. Kristen is taken away, leading to Rachel's emotional safety and Johnny's happiness. It's good news for Johnny, but nobody seems to be worried about Kristen. Kristen knows she didn't do it. Does Belle realize that she is lying to save Rachel? Now that Belle is no longer with EJ, will she and Shawn finally reunite? Here are your Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Leo Stark did his job and the verdict is in. And Kristen has to think fast if she doesn't want her little girl's entire life to be destroyed. EJ warns her that she needs to find someone else to throw under the bus fast, or he will be forced to tell the authorities that he remembers Rachel shooting him. So Kristen does just that and ends up in handcuffs rather than Johnny. Does she throw herself under the bus so that Rachel never has to know what she did? So far, Rachel has blocked the shooting from her mind, and Kristen fears that Rachel will fall apart if she ever knows the truth. Marlena fears the same. Kristen asks Marlena for a favor before she makes her big move. Does she want Marlena to take care of Rachel and make sure she never knows what happened that fateful night? Marlon just might see a whole new side of Kristen. However, the jury also has a verdict to read, as Foreman Leo hands the judge the verdict. Does Kristen's courtroom outburst come before the verdict is read or after? If Kristen claims that she shot EJ, does the verdict even get read? Will we ever learn if Leo did his job right? It's pretty clear that Brady is starting to suspect that something is way off with Sophia's story. She conveniently gave birth out of town and handed her baby to a mystery couple so Tate would never get to meet his own child. Something just doesn't add up, and Brady wants to know what is really going on. Now that the sex of Sophia's baby has come up in conversation twice while Sarah has been around, Brady wonders if his new friend might have the answers that he's looking for. Will Sarah abide by doctor-patient confidentiality and HIPAA laws, or will she find her own way to tell Brady the truth about his grandson? Here is your Days of Our Lives recap for Thursday, August 21st, 2025. In the jury deliberation room, Leo lamented that there were once again 11 not guilty votes and 1 guilty vote. It turned out that Leo's roommate, Adam, was sure that Johnny DiMera shot his own father. Leo pointed out that there was no proof that Johnny shot EJ. Adam disagreed. Johnny admitted to going to his father's house and waving a gun around. That was proof enough for Adam. It's not so unusual for a son to want his father to fall off a perch, Adam said. As the rest of the jury ordered lunch, Leo took Adam aside for a chat. Leo, I like you. You're a stand-up chap, but I'm not going to let you bully me into changing my vote to acquit Johnny, Adam said. Leo was sure they were going to end up with a hung jury, while Adam was sure he could convince 5 jurors to see his reasoning. Leo then gave them all a speech about reasonable doubt. This is not an episode of Law and Order. What we decide today has real-life consequences, not just for the defendant, but for every single person who showed up to testify in that courtroom. We owe it to them and to ourselves to deliver an actual verdict and not end up with a hung jury, Leo said. After lunch, Adam somehow managed to get the other jurors to agree that the rich and powerful of Salem had entered into a vast conspiracy and believed they were above the law. In Rachel's room at the DiMera mansion, Rachel questioned Marlena about how juries work. She was worried that Johnny would be convicted. I wish there was something I could do to help him, Rachel said. She wished she knew who really shot Uncle EJ. Rachel noticed how sad Marlena looked and knew she was missing Grandpa John. He always knew how to make things better, Rachel said. I miss him so much, but I bet you miss him 1,001 times more, Marlena said that talking about John brought her comfort. She liked her memories of John. Rachel said that whenever she tried to remember things, her stomach hurt. Rachel also grew tired of hanging with Marlena and insisted they go downstairs and tell Kristen and EJ they had talked enough. Marlena stopped her, but Rachel worried that EJ was upset with her for breaking his paperweight. Rachel wanted to go downstairs in the worst way, so she claimed her snake escaped its cage to distract Marlena. While Marlena was trying to trap a snake, Rachel ran from her room. Marlena followed after her. Downstairs in the living room, EJ insisted to Kristen that he loved Rachel, but he couldn't allow Johnny to go to jail for a crime he didn't commit. Kristen asked how she could guarantee that the jury wouldn't convict Johnny. Not my problem. That is all on you, EJ said. EJ pointed out that there was still time because the jury had not returned with a verdict yet. Ever the DiMera, Kristen said. Time to do what? It's not like I can bribe the judge at the point. The only thing we can do is wait and see what the jury decides. You already did a heck of a job tossing blame onto everybody who has a pulse in Salem. There's no way they're going to convict Johnny, Kristen said. EJ wished that she was right, but he wasn't so sure. Johnny practically threw this case away when he decided to fire me and represent himself, EJ lamented. Kristen suggested that if Johnny were to be found guilty, they could buy more time to figure out the Rachel situation by filing an appeal. EJ wasn't willing to do that. Kristen tried to reason with EJ. We need to take some time and figure out a solid plan so we can save both of them, Kristen said. EJ balked at the idea. Let's not pretend we trust each other, Kristen. You're likely already coming up with ways to run off with your daughter and leave my son holding the bag, EJ accused. EJ and Kristen bickered back and forth for a few minutes, as Kristen begged EJ to give her more time. EJ didn't believe they had any more time. You need to take action before that jury comes back with a verdict, EJ spat. EJ insisted he would make sure the authorities knew that Rachel shot him by accident. She's a child. It's not like she'll be doing hard time, he said. Kristen knew this, but she worried about Rachel's emotional well-being if she knew the truth. EJ was still focused on Johnny and told Kristen, find a way so both of our children don't have to suffer. Find a sacrificial lamb that isn't my son. Soon, Rachel came barreling into the living room with Marlena chasing after her. Are you guys keeping a secret from me? Rachel demanded to know. Before EJ could say much, Marlena got a text that the jury had reached a verdict. Brady walked in on Tate making plans with Holly over the phone. When Tate hung up, he embraced his father, while Brady commented that they never see one another anymore. Tate claimed to be excited about school starting, but was disappointed that the alleged adoptive parents wouldn't let him see his baby. Tate said he realized that might be for the best after the emotional moment when he and Sophia saw Ari with Tesoro. Sophia just got really upset being around another baby. All this has been hard on me, but it's been way harder on Sophia, Tate noted. I decided it's for the best if I just stopped obsessing over meeting my daughter. Brady was proud of Tate for considering Sophia's feelings ahead of his own. However, if you want to fight to see your daughter, you wouldn't necessarily have to involve Sophia in that, Brady said. Tate admitted Sophia might have been right all along, that meeting the baby would have made it more difficult to let go. So no more fixating on the baby. It's not good for Sophia, and no good for me, Tate concluded. As they talked some more, Tate decided that he wanted to get a job. Brady suggested they go to the Brady pub to see if Roman needed anyone. Brady was supposed to meet Sarah there anyway. At the Brady pub, Sarah approached Sophia and asked if they could talk. Sarah told Sophia she was still ethically bound to keep her secret, but she knew via her friendship with Brady that Tate was having a difficult time. Sophia said she wished she could tell Tate the truth, but she feared he would hate her. Sarah countered that Tate could be grateful and compassionate. He would know what you went through, giving birth all alone. You would be giving him the closure that he desperately needs, Sarah said. Sophia was sure that Tate would think she was a terrible and heartless person for leaving the baby at a fire station. You left your baby in a perfectly safe space. It is why the drop-off program exists, Sarah insisted. Sophia also worried about her parents forcing her to take the baby back or cutting her off financially. Sophia said she wanted what was best for the baby, but seeing him all over town was like torture. I saw him twice yesterday, and one of the times, I was with my mom. She said he looked just like my brother did when he was a baby, Sophia noted. Sarah asked Sophia about her plans for the future. Sophia said she planned to go to Salem U and hoped to grow closer to Tate. Sarah reminded Sophia that she was Holly's aunt and that Holly and Tate were back together again. For now, Sophia said, Holly and Tate are on and off all the time, so it's not going to be long until they're off again. When Brady and Tate got there, Brady told Sophia the adoptive parents wouldn't allow Tate to see the baby. That's too bad. Maybe they'll change their minds and they can someday meet him, Sophia said. Brady questioned why she said him. Sophia covered for herself and said she just misspoke. After Sophia walked away, Brady remembered how surprised Sarah was when she heard Sophia had given birth to a girl in Chicago. After Tate handed in his job application, Sophia asked him to have lunch with her. She tried to cover her disappointment when he said he already had plans with Holly. When Tate left, Sophia asked for her own job application. At a table, Brady told Sarah that he couldn't stop thinking about Sophia's slip of the tongue. Isn't it kind of odd that she would just mistakenly refer to the baby as a boy? Brady asked. Days of our lives. Early weekly spoilers for August 25th through the 29th. See Rachel Black's wrath and Kristen DiMera being arrested. As we always do on Early Edition Day, we start with what's coming this week, then dive into what's coming next week. So let's get into it. On Wednesday, August 20th, Kristen has to face the truth. Rachel shot E.J. DiMera because of her namesake grandma, Rachel Blake, going missing. If you remember, E.J. told little Rachel he didn't even know where she was. I don't know about that. He definitely knew that he had had her sent away. But this is all back to the modeling that Kristen has done as a mom for her child, which is not good. E.J. and Marlena Evans talk about next steps. E.J. remembers the night of the shooting. I think Marlena already suspected that Rachel pulled the trigger. E.J. may feel somewhat responsible for why Rachel did what she did, but he's got to protect Johnny DiMera from going to prison. Steve Johnson talks to Gabby Hernandez about his findings in the investigation she ordered. I can't wait to see what he has to say about Titan, about Xander Cook, and about Philip Kyriakis. We know the mischief he found about Alex Kyriakis, but it's Xander and Philip that she needs the dirt on. Speaking of Alex, she wants to hire Stephanie Johnson. Maybe it's to do Titan PR work. But will that be a conflict of interest since she is working for EJ at the hospital and he's a rival? Since they have both the companies, I don't know. Belle Black and Philip share a moment on Wednesday. He tells her she deserves better. I'm assuming that means better than EJ. I just wonder if Belle is going to take a second look at Philip, even for a moment. He has his eye on another woman soon. On Thursday, August 21st, Kristen is begging EJ for more time to deal with this terrible truth about Rachel. At the same time, we're going to see Marlena distracting Rachel so they can talk. Plus, Leo Stark and the rest of the jury deliberate Johnny's fate. The question is, will they find him guilty or not guilty? If they were going to find him not guilty, then they probably could have handled the whole Rachel shooting mess in-house. But we know from a behind-the-scenes photo we shared with you guys months ago that Kristen is indeed headed to Statesville Prison. Also on Thursday, Tate Black has a heart-to-heart talk with his dad, Brady Black. Tate is really struggling because he has no closure. He never got to meet his little baby. Of course, Tate doesn't even know that he has met Tesoro. Sophia Choi is also struggling with this. She knows that Tesoro is their baby, so every time she sees Tate near the kid, she starts to freak out. I don't know how long she can handle this. Meanwhile, Sarah Horton circles back around to Sophia and encourages her to tell the truth. The problem is, those were fake adoption papers. It was a scam. Sophia abandoned her and Tate's baby. There are just a lot of things he is not going to handle well. I don't think Sophia would necessarily face any criminal charges, just because she is allowed to give up her baby the way she did. The fake adoption papers are kind of down to Melinda Trask and her influence on her. But still, it feels like a risk. So we'll see if Sophia finally does the right thing. I kind of feel like she won't, and Tate is going to stay in the dark for a while longer. But we'll find out. We still have to figure out the fate of baby Tesoro. On Friday, August 22nd, EJ is ready to blurt out the truth in court that little Rachel shot him. But EJ may hold his tongue for his sister Kristen and niece Rachel's sake, at least for a few minutes. Kristen is asking Marlena for help, likely with Rachel, while she takes the fall and goes to prison for the shooting. Hopefully, Marlena EL can help Rachel through the trauma as Kristen is sent away. Brady interrogates Sarah, maybe about Tate and the baby, maybe about Rachel. Of course, Brady is going to be crushed to find out what Rachel Black has done, and I'm sure he is going to blame Kristen. That's who I blame. Let me know what you think in the comments. The trial is cut short. Four-person Leo Stark is about to read the verdict that he and the other jury members came to, but then Kristen bursts into the courtroom and makes a scene. She's going to confess to save Rachel. Kristen is off to Statesville. We reported this outcome back in February from a leak. Just real quick, if you haven't listened here regularly, when I first published the leak that I was sent by what I now know is a very reliable leaker, Days of Our Lives PR office contacted me, really ticked off about it. Giving you guys that leak got me blacklisted with them. So kind of funny. If they had never said anything, I wouldn't have been so certain all this time that it was true. I don't know what they were thinking, approaching a journalist like that, because it just let me know that I'd hit the nail on the head. The week of August 25th through the 29th, with the truth about Rachel out, at least to some extent among certain people, the question is, what's next? It seems like Rachel family and her friends are going to circle the wagons to protect the kid, but she also needs to get some help, quite clearly. So I'm interested to see if Kristen tries to get EJ and Marlena to take a vow of silence about this issue and protect her daughter, while Kristen DiMera is gone away, paying the price. Tate Black may learn the truth about Tesoro soon. We'll know more once we see how it goes when Sarah confronts Sophia. EJ is now going to have more time to focus on the hospital with the help of his minion Rita Leslie. She's a lot of fun. Backlash is coming, though, in the form of the Dr. Tom Horton Free Clinic. It feels like Salemites might have two choices for medical care. Marlena's Queen of the Night Dreams could restart soon now that the nightmare of the trial is over and her brain is somewhat clear. Stefano DiMera and the ghost of him and the past might be back to haunt her. Philip is going to wake up in bed with Gabby soon. This is part of the plan she has cooked up with Tony DiMera. She kissed Xander, and I feel like that was definitely part of the plan. I still feel like she kind of likes Xander as a person, but is stringing him along because, bottom line, She wants the merger broken up so she can have Gabby Chic back. Plus, Tony has promised her the CEO seat at Demera, a seat she has warmed before. Now that she has it in writing, Gabby is ready to make it happen. I don't think that Gabby out here, like, corporate prostituting herself or anything. Maybe she and Philip just have a few too many drinks. Or maybe Gabby, stone cold sober, just lets Philip think that something happened. I mean, that sounds pretty chaotic. Sounds like a soap plot. More of Javi's past is revealed. We should be finding out more about his secret daughter soon, especially now that Leo is out of sequester. Now that the trial is over, he's headed back home. I wonder if Javi is going to come clean to him, or if reporter Leo Stark is going to be lurking around and overhear something. Plus, Julie Williams is buying the bookstore in the square. I wonder if Stephanie is going to be stunned to see her sexy book in Hortontown Square for sale.